Smiley N. Pool, staff photographer Dallas Cowboys wide receiver Cole Beasley, 11, runs past Seattle Seahawks outside linebacker KJ. Wright, 50, during the first half of an NFL wildcard playoff football game. Edit. 5/2019, in Arlington, Smiley N. Pool, The Dallas Morning News. The free agency period sputters along with the Cowboys continuing to pick over the NFL's bargain bin. Even though the Cowboys haven't generated many headlines, there are still plenty of topics to discuss. In this week's Cowboys Beat Writers Roundtable, we examine Dallas' retooled receivers unit, DeMarcus Lawrence's contract stalemate and the need for a more dynamic backup for Ezekiel Elliott. Have the Cowboys adequately replaced the production lost with Cole Beasley signing in Buffalo? David Moore, will one receiver replace the numbers Beasley put up with the Cowboys out of the slot last season? Probably not. His 65 catches for 672 yards both represent the second-best numbers of his career. Randall Cobb hasn't had that many yards in any of his last 3 seasons and has had more receptions only once. Now, let's turn this question around. Would Beasley duplicate those numbers if he would have returned for the 2019 season? Probably not. With Amari Cooper expected to have an even bigger role in his first full season with the Cowboys, with Michael Gallup's expected improvement in year 2, with the rise of tight end Blake Jarwin and the return of Jason Witten, there's a good chance the ball was going to be spread around more than it was last season after Cooper. Beasley's production will be replaced. It just won't come from one person. If his production isn't replaced, the Cowboys' passing game won't have made the improvement that's the focus of this offseason. Kate Haropoulos, if the Cowboys are getting vintage Randall Cobb, absolutely. But there are some unknowns, the biggest being will he be able to remain healthy? He had that lingering hamstring issue last season, when he eventually admitted he came back too soon. He also had an established connection with quarterback Aaron Rodgers and caught nearly 70% of the targets that came his way from his buddy. It was Beasley who served as Dak Prescott's safety valve since the Dallas QB's rookie season in 2016. Cobb is playing on a 1-year deal because he believes he can prove he's still got plenty left and become that dependable target for Prescott. He turned 29 in August. Beasley turns 30 next month. Though Cobb's numbers sank last year as he missed 7 games, it was only 2017 when he put up a respectable 653 yards and 4 touchdowns. Beasley had 672 yards and 3 touchdowns last season. Sign up for our free Cowboys newsletter. Do the Cowboys need a change of pace running back? David Moore, a change of pace back would help diversify the offense, but ask yourself this. How many opportunities would he get, knowing every time he touches the ball Ezekiel Elliott doesn't? Elliott carried the ball 304 times from scrimmage and led the team with 77 receptions last season. That workload will lessen later in his career, but not yet. The concept of a change of pace back sounds great, but would he see enough time of the field to be of any true value? That's unlikely. The more likely scenario is that the Cowboys go with a back with a more complete skill set who could spell Elliott for a series or 2 or a game if he's injured. Kate Haropoulos, anything to spice up the offense for new coordinator Kellen Moore, right? The Cowboys will see who is available in the draft. They don't have much depth at running back, period, considering they still haven't resigned free agent backup Rod Smith. If they don't find a smaller, fast, pass-catching RB that can play behind Zeke Elliott, perhaps Tavon Austin can be the answer. His chance to get more snaps in the slot just diminished with the signing of Randall Cobb. The Cowboys could use him more out of the backfield in 2019. We didn't see a lot of it last season, or a ton of success when they did try it, but Austin was hurt most of the season. We've only seen glimpses of what a healthy Austin can do. Is there any scenario in which DeMarcus Lawrence will not be a member of the Cowboys in 2019? David Moore, it's hard to envision a scenario where he won't be back. Lawrence is one of the league's top defensive ends. He's relentless on the field. He plays through injuries. He's respected by teammates and coaches. If the club doesn't sign him, what message does that send to everyone else in the locker room? What does it do to a defense that has spent years building to this point? It would undercut everything ownership and coach Jason Garrett say they value. The Cowboys will sign Lawrence, and it needs to be done sooner rather than later. The club can't afford to go down to the deadline the way it did with Des Bryant when he was on the franchise tag. Too many rifts, too many questions develop the longer this remains unresolved. Kate Haropoulos, I think Tank will be back, and with a long-term deal that gives him the security he wants and feels like he's earned. It's hard to look at his last 2 seasons and say otherwise. But it's better for the Cowboys, certainly, if this gets done sooner than later. Lawrence needs that shoulder surgery. A disgruntled star player sitting out the off-season program to prove a point, if it comes to that, stirs up a lot of messy drama. Many asked if the Cowboys' interest in a trade with Miami for pass rusher Robert Quinn has to do with creating leverage with Lawrence. But I do think the Cowboys are looking for a defensive end to pair with Lawrence, not find a fallback option if they can't get a deal done.